Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, it's Sunday, it's day 4 of our quarantine from work, and we're continuing to do the daily live streams. And I just kind of decided that since it's also the first day where it hasn't really been raining a lot today, it's been a little misty early in the morning, but it's actually kind of petered off a little bit, and it's not raining so much anymore. So I decided for dinner I'm just going to grill burgers out on the grill. So since there's a little bit of prep time doing that, getting the grill, getting the charcoal heated up and all that, we're just kind of working on that right now, and I'm just going to sit and talk while we do that. I managed to get some veggies a few days ago at HEB, so I think I'm going to steam some. I haven't decided yet. I got some Brussels sprouts, I got some corn on the cob, and I got some carrots. And I've been kind of eating just raw carrots a lot lately. You know, it's a good healthy snack and all that. And when you can find them, you can take advantage of it. But I think I may actually go with corn on the cob this time. That works really well in the InstantPot. You can prepare it in a couple minutes and it's ready to go. So like I said, we got a little rain in the last couple days, and that's always nice. Looks like we got about 1.25 inches. So that's, won't complain about that. That's a nice little rainstorm. Didn't really come too hard. It was kind of spread over about a 4 or 5 hour period. So that's always good. Gives the water a little time to soak into the ground, not just all wash away. One of the things I've always liked to do, and did even back in California, is on the rare occasion it did rain there, I like to try and capture as much of the water as I can in buckets for like feeding plants and stuff like that. That was always a good thing to do. So that's one of the advantages you get when it rains a lot here. You get a lot of free buckets of water. So, all those plants I showed you the other day, yeah, that's where they get their water, is from this. So while we're back here, yeah, this is the extent of my backyard right now. This is why you can see I don't let flash back here. Yeah, this is all there is. There'd be no sunlight back here, no grass or anything for her to eat. It'd just be kind of all dead back here. There's also like a whole bunch of hazards and stuff like that. That little cliff there, if she fell off there and landed on her back, she could die out here. So yeah, that's why Flash is at Beth's house and not here. But she's far better off there, at least until I get a place of my own. It's kind of interesting. I actually did a little grocery shopping today at some alternative sites. Usually I've just been hitting the local HEB and seeing what I can find there, but haven't had a whole lot of success on some of the common things that people need every day. I'd heard some people say that they had some success going to like Walmart and trying that out. So interesting, just for grins and giggles, I went over to Walmart just to see what I could find. And they were right. Walmart does seem to have a few things that you can't find anywhere else. It turns out right when I got there, they were unloading a new pallet of toilet paper, and so the guy that was unloading the toilet paper off the pallet was like the most popular guy in the store. But I also found some canned soup, which I've been looking for a while. You could, if you wanted like a cream of broccoli soup or something bizarre, you could find it over at HEB, assuming you were willing to take a can that was completely crushed. But Walmart actually had normal brands, normal flavors of soup that, things that I like. I'm a huge fan of split pea soup, and they had some of that, and they had chicken noodle soup. I also found some of my chili that I was looking for. There's a brand of canned chili. Remember the other day I was telling you about the Wolf brand chili that nobody was buying at HEB? Yeah, they had a lot of that over at Walmart too, and nobody was buying it there either. What else did I find? Like I said, I got one roll or one little packet of toilet paper, so we're good on that for a while. I really wasn't that worried about it, but now we got it. Now it's a commodity, so if I need to sell it for food, maybe I can do that. But whatever, I bought into the silliness a little bit, but whatever, it's better to be safe than sorry, right? I did find that they also had some milk, and I drink a lot of milk, so I bought a couple gallons of milk. But I did notice that they didn't have things like eggs and stuff like that. So fortunately, I'm good on the eggs front for a week or two. I don't eat that many eggs because You know, it's probably not that good for you to be eating that many of those, but whatever, that's where we are right now. So I think, like I said before, the dinner tonight's going to be hamburgers and corn on the cob, I think. So I'm going to get that going right now. And since we haven't really done a lot about showing you how to prepare veggies in the Instant Pot, you know, let's do this, do a little mini Bytes and Nibbles segment. We're just going to go over that real quick, because that's one of the things I've liked a lot about this Instant Pot, probably even more than anything else, is how great it is for steaming vegetables. So, like I said, we got a little bit of corn on the cob right now. They're not really big ears, but when I tasted it yesterday, a couple days ago, it was nice and sweet, and that's really the important thing. So I'm just kind of peeling this, get it ready to go. Clean it up a little bit in the sink just to wipe all the hair off of it, or whatever that is that comes off with it. And then this is really easy. All you have to do is you pour about a cup of water into the reservoir, or into the inner pot. I bought one of these things on Amazon. It's an Instant Pot steaming tray, and you put that in there. It's got those little rubber tips on the bottom, so you don't end up you know, heating things up, and it kind of keeps the temperatures a little bit under control. Then you just drop whatever your vegetable is into the steaming tray, and you start the cooking process. So in this case, I got my corn on the cob. We grab the lid, put it in there, close it, and then we go in the front and do the settings, and I'll show you how that works. Now, when you purchased your Instant Pot, it came with a little handy dandy lookup chart like this that tells you just quick ways on how to cook, you know, common vegetables. And it's all cooked at high pressure, so you have to remember that. And so you just find what you're looking for. In this case, corn on the cob, 1 or 2 minutes. That's all we're doing. So we're going to cook this for 1 or 2 minutes. It's one of those things you have to kind of play with it a couple times to see what you think, because, you know, different people may have different tastes, but that's how you kind of do with that. And that's pretty easy. All right, so now I'm just going to press the steam button. It's already set on high pressure, but if you need to, you can set the pressure level with this button. That's low pressure. That's high pressure, and then we're going to set it for 2 minutes, and I can set the time here. So I've got it set for high pressure at 2 minutes, and in a second it will start doing its thing, and at that point it starts heating up the water in the pot, and when it gets to the point where the pressure hits a certain level, then it begins cooking. And now my charcoal briquettes are just about ready to go, and I kind of wanted to get everything in the house going right away, because once I get this thing on the grill, it's actually going to cook pretty fast. We're going to cook in a couple minutes. See, this is one of the things that I saw that was a little bit different from when I used to grill on that bad boy in California, is when you're cooking under natural gas, it tends to take a little longer to cook. But when you're cooking directly on hot coals like this, you know, you're good for a couple minutes on a side, and that's all it's going to take. So I actually, between the last couple scenes where I talked about setting up the Instant Pot and actually pressing the button, there was probably 10 minutes of time I took in there just to kind of get this all ready, get the patty out, get it coated with the spices that I like, and then get ready, get that thing set up so that by the time that gets done, now this will be ready too, so that everything's done at about the same time. So I think this is actually a big part of the reason why it cooks so much faster on here, because as soon as the meat starts heating up, it starts dripping fat into the fire, and then you start getting flame. It's flame broiling your burger here. So after a minute or so, you know, you're doing pretty good there. You're ready to flip it, and if you don't, you'll end up eating a piece of charcoal. So yeah, we're like 2 minutes, 3 minutes into this, and we're already done on one side. But that looks yummy. And while I'm doing it, I'm cooking the corn inside, and I've got a couple hamburger buns in the toaster just to give them a little toasty flavor to them. Second side is starting to drip a little fat now, so we're getting that good and flame boiled. Give that another minute or so. We'll flip it one more time, put a little cheese on there. Nice little slice of cheese on the top of it there. And we're going to put the cover on it just to kind of hold the heat in a little bit. That'll also kind of put the flame out a little bit so that we don't end up scorching the meat too much. Kind of keep the heat in there and leave that in there for a minute and we'll be ready to go. You know, it looks like I'm going to have to eat my meal kind of split serving a little bit because after I walked out, apparently when I set the timer for the toaster to cook the hamburger buns, both the toaster and the Instant Pot were on the same breaker, and I guess we tripped a breaker pulling too much power, so things are a little bit out of timing now, but that's okay, we'll live. Oh yeah, that looks like a good start. That's a good start on a hamburger, right? Strike that, not a hamburger, a cheeseburger, and not just a cheeseburger for Emily. One of these days on a live stream, you'll have to ask me what that means. Mental note to myself, I just can't operate the Instant Pot and the toaster oven at the same time. They're gonna have to be moved on to different breakers or something like that because it tripped again. So anyway, the toaster is gone long enough now that the buns are good to go. So we'll just let the Instant Pot do its thing, and when it beeps at me in a couple minutes, we'll have corn too. So we'll just put the hamburger bun right on the top there. Snag it with the spatula, and we are pretty much ready to go. A little bit toasty, but that's okay. We'll live. All right, so we are 2 minutes later. The corn has come out, and that's just usually about right for me. Now, I didn't do the natural vent function that comes with it. I actually do manual vent. If you do the natural vent, sometimes the corn gets a little bit too overcooked, and I like my corn to be a little crunchy. That's just a personal taste. So after 2 minutes, I manually vent it quickly rather than having it cook for another 10 or so minutes under partial pressure, just under the heat as it naturally vents. Just a personal taste, but you can do it however you want. All right, so I think the next step now is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to have some corn on the cob and a cheeseburger. Looks pretty good. I'm ready to go. I'm hungry, so I think the only thing I got left to do is say thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.